What's up, guys? Welcome to a very special episode of Somewhere in the Skies. And today, we're doing a crossover with Joe and Emmet, the UFO Bros and hosts of the Probecast.
This is Somewhere in the Skies with Ryan Sprague.
I am here with the UFO Bros, and today we're just gonna have fun. Like, this is not gonna be the super standard list of questions, answer, goodbye. We're gonna have a good time because if there's something I love about you guys is that you take this topic of UFOs seriously, but not too seriously. And I think that's what's lacking in this field so much. So we're gonna have fun. We're gonna get a little crazy. We're going to look at some interesting stuff that you guys are in possession of that the world has not really seen yet. And I'm so excited for that. I just want to get to that. But before we do that, I want to ask you guys, I mean, this is kind of about all of us coming together, figuring out how we got into this stuff. So origin story for the UFO Bros. How did you guys get interested in UFOs? How did you come up with this idea of the UFO Bros? Yeah, let my audience know what you guys are all about.
Sure. Well, it first started coming out of the same person. That was where we met. And actually, I'll tell you, we say this story over and over again. We've told it a few times. Alien Autopsy.
Autopsy.
1997.
1997.
Yep.
Fox. I think it's Fox. Okay, so, here we are, our normal teenage selves, and we come across this video. They just, hey, it's my parrot. We come across this video and it's amazing. Here's this alien body on a table. They're cutting it open. They're taking its brains out. They're cataloging its organs. And it just blew us away and really opened our mind to what's potentially out there. And so, another thing I think that really sparked it was our older cousin gave us a book. It was just called Paranormal. And it was actually a beautifully bound book. I wish I still had it.
Yeah.
And in it was everything: Loch Ness Monster, UFOs, Baghdad batteries, anything that's paranormal, strange, that stuff was in that book. And so that was like a huge thing for us. And so we've just been following it ever since. Bob Lazar also was a huge revelation.
Will you shut that damn bird up?
Shut up. Come here.
There is a parrot in the room for those watching and listening. Oh my gosh. Love it.
There she is.
There she is.
She is gorgeous, man.
She loves FaceTiming. Thank you so much.
What's her name?
Her name is Noxima Jackson.
Whoa.
Jesse's daughter.
Okay. Got it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So Bob Lazar, right?
Yeah.
Whoa. I know you know, because you guys covered it too, right? On your special, on your TV show. Wasn't it? You have a regular. This is your second season, aren't you?
Yeah, we're going into our second season right now. I'm not like the main host, but I come on anytime there's UFO stuff, which is awesome.
So cool.
Jennifer Marshall, our prime investigator, she is no bullshit, like top of the line, skeptical believer, which I think is very important. Like, she wants the facts, she wants the truth. She doesn't give a shit if aliens, crashed in Roswell. She wants to go where the evidence leads her. So when we did Roswell, we did Area 51, and of course that had so much to do with Bob Lazar, which is one of my questions for you guys we'll get to later on. But sorry to interrupt. Please continue.
Yeah, no, I mean, it just kind of spurred from there. And then in 2016, we had some life events that brought us together as adults in a different way. And we just was like, let's go to Area 51. Nice. And we went. And it was the most beautiful time of the year. If you're out there at the right time, it can be gorgeous. You just got to be careful when you're driving at night, because it is possible to hit a cow. You know this?
Yeah.
Yeah, the pictures at the little alien with the dead cows in these cars. So you got to be careful.
So disturbing, and then I know.
Went to Roswell, and then we went to Aurora, Texas, and then we went to Needles, and then we went to Area 51. I mean, we've just spent so much time going there, and that I think is really what we do. Because some people, they research and we need it.
What's up,
But
people?
some people. It's a different thing to actually go and explore it and find the
Yeah.
Roswell crash site and
Right.
find that monument out there in the middle of a field. It's like a needle in a haystack, finding that, and then finding what the hell's at Area 51. And I think we mooned the guards in our special, by the way.
Did you?
Yeah, we did.
Oh, well, hey, while we're at it, let's talk about that.
Yeah.
I mean, you guys are probably most well known now as being national television stars. So tell us about the special on Travel Channel. Joe, what did you think about it, brother? Because I know, Emmett, you're like the big believer, right?
Oh.
He's the talker, and you're the guy who just is like, always so stoic, which I liked in the special. So yeah, give it to me. Like, how did the special come about, and what was it like filming that?
Oh my God. So the special, me and Emmett just started doing our normal podcasting. We just put a couple videos up on our channels, and then we just started getting phone calls of just production companies wanting to, hey, you guys want to do a show about aliens? We're like, yeah. So we started doing the pre-production stuff, pilot stuff, and then it just happened. It was really quick and surprising. It's awesome.
How about you, Emmett? Like, what was it like getting contacted by a TV network and being like, we want you to go out and look at the UFO topic? I'm still like in awe that it happened to me. Like, it was something I never really saw coming. But man,
Yeah.
like when you
I'll
have
tell
a
you this.
TV network behind you, the resources are amazing. So yeah,
Yes.
let me know what do you think?
Well, first of all, I just wanted to say, like, I imagine you feel this way the whole time. I just kept thinking, I'm really not supposed to be here. Like, I'm so lucky to be here, to be a part. Like, you mind yourself out of every minute. You're like, I'm not supposed to be here. But oh my gosh, with the resources of travel and the showrunners and all the people that really are the stars, as far as I'm concerned, because Joe and I, we talk and we do what we do, but these people, they assembled that in less than 2 months from start to finish. I don't know how they did it. They were literally editing while we were going to different shoots and stuff and interviews and that sort of thing. But it was great to be able to get involved with people that are making more waves in this topic. Bringing in Bob Lazar, Jeremy Corbell, who has done a phenomenal job of covering this topic in ways that's really connecting with people. And that was kind of our whole premise, was mysterious is great, but what do you like the normal people think? So going to Area 51 was the perfect opportunity. We interviewed some great people. We interviewed the guy that wanted to fornicate with the alien. We interviewed the guy from Boston that was pissed off that all of the secrets are covered up, and that's so cool because that's on our level. We just talk to people about it, and that's kind of always been our approach. And I think that just lined up well with Area 51. We were just in the right place at the right time for it. But it was a blast. I mean, getting to be in the RV, meeting Rick Doty, hanging out with Jeremy, in such an official capacity. He's a TV star, It was great, man. It was just such a huge moment to just absorb everything about our little world of UFOs in our community and just be in it. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. Yeah.
And then to be paid for it, you're like, what?
And to be, yeah, what? Like, that's your job? It's insane.
Wait, I'm getting money for this?
What I thought was really cool too is like you mentioned, it's you guys came right at the peak of interest, both in Area 51 and UFOs. I mean, look at all this stuff we have with the Pentagon UFO program. And I know on our show, we looked at these what I think are stunning similarities between what Bob Lazar was saying back in the 80s of how these craft worked. They weren't like, the saucer kind of floating and hovering like we see in the 50s movies. It was craft belly up and then like gets pulled instead of pushed out the back by propulsion. So Lazar was saying this shit back in the 80s. And then Jennifer and I are looking at the current videos, the Tic Tac, the gimbal, the Go Fast Navy videos. And you look at one of those, I believe it was the gimbal video. Yeah.
Yes.
And what did what did that craft do? Right at the end of the video that we see? Exactly, brother. And the guy even
Turns
says
out
it
on its own.
rotated. And that gave me chills, I think, when I made that connection in our show. And I can't pretend to be the first. Like, Jeremy's been saying it for a long time. Other people noticed. They're like, huh, what Lazar said back then is kind of true now. So what do you guys think? Does that lend credence to his story? And I guess the
Oh my
overall
gosh.
question, what do you guys think? Do you believe Bob? I'd love to get your both of your opinions on it. I've got mine for damn sure.
I believe Bob. What about you, Joe?
Yeah, I believe Bob. I definitely believe Bob 100%.
Yeah.
I think the thing with Bob Lazar that some people tend to focus on are some of his little quirky sort of side expeditions and side businesses that he's had.
Like
but
working at a brothel.
but to be honest with you, if I was to bring somebody into an extremely super secretive black project, I would look for somebody who is easily discreditable. Is that a word? Discreditable?
It is today. Yeah. Let's go.
Discreditable. And he's the
Discreditable.
perfect person for that. And he's also you know, a physicist, and he thinks outside the box. And that's the kind of person I think you'd want to look at in exotic technology. You wouldn't want to bring the guy necessarily, you know, that's writing the papers and he's the book smart guy. And because I think there's one thing that Bob was able to do was technical application, actually build the things and touch.
Hey, bro,
he was a hands-on guy.
Right.
I don't want to say anything, but you got a drizzle on your drip of your chin there.
Yum.
What is it?
Flavor saver.
Oh.
It's
Ooh,
just,
what are you drinking, man? What is that? That looks so good.
Sitting there talking to me.
So we are having a cold brew with light sweet cream and some pumpkin foam, no topping.
Ooh, fancy mother effer with a parrot.
It's our favorite.
I love it. I love it.
I'm like, of course I have to have a parrot, and of course it has to be rainbow parrot. I mean, like, can I get a more inconspicuous bird? I don't know. I don't know. I love her. She's my TV bird. I got her after storming Area 51.
Oh, that's awesome. What a like good permanent souvenir, right? To remember.
Right.
Yeah. I love her.
Well,
she's my friend.
I guess, yeah, I'm with you guys. Like, I must admit, here's my sort of passive answer, and I get shit for saying this a lot by the UFO community, but I've been vocal about my thoughts on Bob Lazar ever since I met him. I think in 2011 or 2012, he was speaking at the International UFO Congress, and he hadn't really come forward for a really long time. And the only thing that really brought him out to talk about it was George Knapp, you know, the guy who broke Lazar's story originally. And we got him up on the stage and had him do like a Q&A and go through everything. And I was backstage, and I got to mic him, put the microphone on him. So I'm like,
what does he smell like?
Ooh, he smells like
science.
He smells like
science and
Element
rocket
115, if you've ever seen it. It's got a little pungent sourness to it. No.
Nice little metallicness. No,
yeah. No, he seems like the kind of guy who wears Old Spice to me. So yeah, I think I smelled a little bit of like the Fuji scented one or something like that. But oh no, man. I mean, putting the mic on him, getting to talk to him for a few minutes, like he just seems like such a down to earth, genuine dude. And here's where I land on it all. I firmly believe Bob Lazar did what he said he did, worked where he said he worked, and saw what he says he saw. But what that is an entirely different story. I mean, this could have been part of some big disinformation campaign, which is part of another individual who you guys spoke to that I want to talk to you about maybe in a little bit. But
Doty.
Yeah, that might be him. Yeah. I believe Bob. I'm with you guys. I'm skeptical of some parts of his story, but look, no one.
Look, do I believe everything? No. Did he have an advanced degree? Probably not. Anybody who's ever like put in a job on a resume might have been like, I was the top executive at the, but you just pump it up a little bit.
Who hasn't done that? Let's be honest.
Right.
And frankly, some people can carry the knowledge and application to be at a PhD level, just not have the degree. So, I mean, you know, it's whatever the words. I just put the words out that people can determine what they think. It's just the words.
The tremendous words, the tremendous.
We have the
wonderful
most
words.
big, beautiful words, and
The big words, the big, beautiful words.
He does
We have
this.
the most medalist saucers.
A terrific sauce.
Oh, man.
Tremendous sauce.
My
Tremendous
audience, my audience is gonna love this part for sure, for sure. Especially,
what the?
especially this week, you know, or what do we got something
Oh.
going on in the United States in a couple weeks. We won't go there, but
What year are we
let's-
on again?
yeah, what is
Yeah.
happening? What is happening? But yeah, I kind of hogged the first couple questions there. I don't know if you guys wanted to take the lead or I've got plenty for you. But yeah, if there's anything you need me to spill the beans on, I'm here too.
So Joe had a question. When do you think you'll reach puberty?
What?
I
See, there's my neck. See,
hey, look, guys, I can't grow the beautiful facial hair you have, but
dude, this
I'm
is
getting
2 months
there.
of growth. This is
I'm
2
getting
months.
there. Is it really?
You look great,
Yeah.
dude. You look like a guy that could be on TV. You know what I mean?
You
is
talking
on
to him
TV.
or me?
You
Me?
should be on
Oh.
TV.
Oh,
He
thank
is.
you. Thank you.
You have the face for it, man. Definitely. I was just telling my brother, I'm like, look at this guy. He's so young. I wonder how old he is. Actually, I'm sorry, I'm going back.
Bro, you're such a dick.
Hey,
Okay. No,
I'm taking it as a compliment. I'm taking it as a
Yeah,
compliment.
just take it.
Some of us go through stages of life later than others, but I'll get there.
That's okay.
I'll
I'm
probably
hoping to reach myself.
I'll probably solve the UFO mystery before I go through puberty, but that's a whole other.
Puberty.
You're gonna be like 80, and you're gonna look.
That's true.
That's okay.
Oh, here's one
So
for you
another
guys.
question. Yeah, oh yeah, I'm gonna actually ask you a question.
Oh God, please
about-
go.
Out of any of your investigations and research, is there one piece of information maybe that you could share with us, possibly you haven't shared with somebody else or you haven't talked about? Maybe even a developing
Ooh.
theory, or I just want to know. I just like to know that. Because,
Absolutely.
you know,
Yep. For me, it goes back to the pilot episode of the Mysteries Decoded television show, where Jennifer and I went to Roswell, like you guys did. And look, when I got approached for this television show and they said, we want to do a UFO show, I'm like, that's so cool. Yeah, if it ever happens, let me know. But you know that game, like all these producers and people say they want to make these shows and then it never happens and you're waiting
oh my
months,
God.
months and months. But
Did your hair
these
fall
are-
out? Mine did, man.
yeah. And I'm just like waiting
getting
by the
answers?
phone and making lattes at my coffee shop and like miserable with my life. And then I get the phone call and I'm like, wow, they actually made it happen. They got a pilot, like a 1 hour special. And then they said they wanted to do Roswell. And right there, man, like Roswell is Roswell. It's awesome. But I also was like, really? Like this, we're doing the case that everyone's covered. Everyone
Right.
knows every play-by-play of the events.
Mhm.
So I told them, I'm like, yeah, absolutely, but we have to do something new. And we have to do something special and bring new evidence or like theories to the table. And I think we did. I thought we came up with some really cool stuff, whether it was the Ramey memo that we looked at, you know, the guy who had that memo during the press conference and what it might have said.
Have you gotten any further on that?
We're still analyzing the memo. It's so hard, man. Like
You know
we've
what?
worked-
I'm gonna tell you a secret.
Oh
I'm gonna tell you
yeah.
a secret.
Okay.
I've been playing around with it on Facetune because you can take the lines and bend them. Facetune, you know, you can do things,
Right.
but you
right.
can. If you manipulate the lines, I was starting to kind of get some, like, you know.
Yeah.
What I'm getting at is I want to solve that shit. I
Yes.
want you know, you're like, let's solve some shit. I think we got to, you know, I want to know what you know about that, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, why can't, you know, have you, like, who have you taken it to? I want to know. I want to know.
Yeah. I mean, in the
Shut
show,
up.
we.
Shut the damn bird up.
Sorry.
She's got a lot to say about Roswell, man. We all do.
Oh.
We had Ben Hansen look at it. You know, former FBI agent and you know, analyst and paranormal researcher, and I thought he did an incredible job. But we also we're having it looked at by several other independent photo analysis and stuff like that. But not even the memo for me. We looked at a metal that was found out there. We
Oh,
had it tested at an aerospace lab.
hmm.
And that came from Frank Kimbler, this dude who lives out in
Yeah.
Roswell. And he's been digging out in the desert for like years now, looking for any evidence of a craft that crashed. And, you know, being the earth scientist and geologist he is, he made shit happen. And he found what he believes that you've been to, that I've been to, which was the actual impact site where the craft supposedly came down. And he found metals out there. And we were like, holy shit, okay. He also found buttons, military
Ooh.
grade buttons that would be on army outfits in
Yeah,
the
because you need tons of army people to pick up a weather balloon, of course.
Of course, yeah. Let's have hundreds of officers out there on hands and knees picking up a weather
Losing
balloon. Come on,
buttons.
give me a
Yeah,
fucking break.
it's very important.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
stupid.
So I mean, the fact that he found medals and the fact that he found military buttons from the 40s, you know, that says a lot. Something crashed there in the 40s out there because it was so remote, no trash, nothing out there. Yet he found these medals. So we had him tested at an aerospace lab in California, and you know, we go about it in the special of like, yeah, it was definitely, the metal was not alien in the sense that it was extraterrestrial, but we were really excited to find out that the alloys within the metal, the composition makeup, everything about this metal that he found out there was what we're using today in 2020. And it's being used on our most sophisticated aerospace shuttles and missions and stuff like that today by Elon Musk, by people like that on their spacecraft. So what the
That sounds so
hell
familiar.
was that metal doing out in the desert in the 40s? I can't tell
How
you.
big is the metal piece?
He's got a bunch of them. I mean, the one
Like,
we
what's the
had,
biggest?
the biggest one I saw was probably about, and I know this doesn't give much context, maybe like 3 inches long, an inch wide. So
Joe, you know about 3 inches, right? Can you show
yeah.
us? I
Oh
know you have a
man.
pretty good eyeball on it. How about
You're out of control.
Oh, I hope you don't mind me jumping in on the metal.
Yeah.
We found a piece of metal. We're going to talk about that, right? Because
Yes, we are.
the
Yeah.
things that you just said apply to this piece of metal because we had it
Okay.
tested.
Ooh, good tease, brother. Yeah, I will definitely get there. I'm gonna end on my Roswell banter or blabbering here with it
No,
wasn't
by all
even
means.
it wasn't the physical evidence, to be honest, that really captured my attention in the research. It was actually somebody who came up to us while we were, you know, cameras were off. We were getting ready to go to our next location. And this local in Roswell came up. And of course, he's like, what are you guys doing? What are you filming? And
Right.
we're like, you know, something about Roswell. He's like, is it the crash? And we're like, yeah. He's like, of course. Of course it is. Because that's all that happens in Roswell. That's what they're known for. And
Roswell's like 2 miles long.
right,
Yeah.
exactly. Yeah. The craft
Like,
didn't even have the decency to actually crash in Roswell. That's just where they
I
had to
know.
bring it.
Oh man.
Even the
That was
it's in
aliens were
Corona,
like,
right?
yeah, yeah, exactly. And
Even the aliens were like, we're not gonna crash in Roswell because
nah,
we're just gonna
nah.
keep on.
keep it on. So, oh yeah, so this dude comes up to us and he's like, so you know what really happened, right? And we're like, I mean, that's what we're trying to figure out. You know, we've heard everything from weather balloons to Project Mogul to, you know, an alien spacecraft. And he was like, nah, nope. And we're like, what do you mean? And he's like, look, this is a small town. Everyone knows someone that was involved with this crash. Everybody in the town, either related to or knew of
Right.
somebody. And he said his grandfather was working at the Roswell Army Airfield at the time. And he told this guy that told us, and you guys might have heard this theory already, but it's one that I find really interesting.
Germans. Oh,
Close, very
bro.
close. Yeah, I know where you're going. So yeah, he said his way of putting it is there were bodies there was a craft, it was human, and it was children. And
Oh, Russian
boom,
children,
either
right?
Russian, German, Japanese, somebody, or American.
Yes.
And that's what he told us. He told us that these were either mentally disabled or physically disabled children who the government snatched up. These kids were left at, orphanages. They were cast outs. Nobody wanted these children. And they said nobody will miss
Sounds
them.
like Joe. Could have put Joe on that.
Ouch. Oh man. And there you go. He says that they put these kids up in like a high altitude balloon or craft, because you got to think 40s. Like this is the early days of looking at space exploration and breaking the chains of gravity and getting up there into the atmosphere. And they wanted to see how long these kids could survive going up there before anything happened.
That would. I didn't hear that.
All right, kids,
Yeah,
you're
right?
gonna go up. You're gonna see some stars.
It's not
You're
Let
gonna
me know
see-
when you.
Damn.
Isn't that so fucked up? And like, that's what this guy told me. And he said, why do you think there was a cover up? Like, we were kidnapping kids, putting them up there, and they were dying at alarming rates trying to
I
do it.
have never heard
Never
that.
heard that.
So that blew my mind.
I heard about. Sorry, just to tap. I heard about like Russians or something that they sent, like kids with Pajoria or whatever, or
Yeah.
something like that, but not exactly what you were saying.
Georgia. Yeah, I understand.
Georgia.
Yeah.
Georgia.
Yeah, I mean,
Well,
and
that's-
again, like I said, it's not the first time this theory's been brought forward, but the fact that this guy came up to me and told this, and other residents in Roswell said this, and researchers like Nick Redfern have written about this in the past. He believes it could have been Japanese who sent something over to spy on us, and it crashed. Look, the possibilities are endless, and aliens are still on the table too. But that for me kind of opened the doors wide open. And we didn't cover
Wow.
it in the TV show because it was really dark and depressing, and they just didn't want
I
to
get
cover
that.
that
Yeah, I
yet.
would.
They don't want to cover it yet, but I will say, we're not done looking at Roswell on the TV show.
I'll tell you this: if that's what happened, that's like a worse story than aliens crashing. Frankly,
Exactly.
I mean,
That's what I said,
Not
man.
worse, or like more like the explosive or whatever.
Yeah.
I don't know. Especially nowadays, everybody's like, yeah, there's aliens or whatever. But
Yeah.
I think that's interesting. I love Roswell. I love the hieroglyphics. I love when people are describing the materials, and I just like. So you're like the Roswell guy. You're our Roswell guy.
Well, there you go too, man. Hieroglyphics. You bring up a really good point. Like back in the 40s and stuff, like people didn't know how to look at Russian writing or Japanese writing and whatnot at the time. Just everyday people in Roswell, New Mexico. I doubt it.
Especially
Maybe
if
the
it's
military.
Japanese.
Yeah, exactly. So like if this rancher is the first to have found this stuff and whatnot, I can't say he didn't know Japanese or Russian or anything, but maybe it's possible he mistook another language written on these pieces or whatnot and thought it was hieroglyphics, as he stated, or that Jesse Marcel Sr. showed his son that it was hieroglyphics. Who knows? But
One more thing on Roswell with the hieroglyphics, you're making me think about. Did you hear about a toy factory creating like Scotch tape with patterns on it? Did you hear about this?
oh yeah, that's definitely
I've seen that special. I've hunted for that tape to try. I've looked everywhere to see if I could find just even like if it like has the diamonds and the clovers and the heart. That's supposed to be what was on it, but Roswell, man, that's a whole episode, bro. I mean, you know that.
it's a whole series. Yeah, I mean, and
Yeah.
you guys know, you too. You've investigated, and every time you think you have an answer, like something creeps in and makes you go a different route. So, but that's what UFO investigation is, and you guys know that more than anyone. You've done more boots on the ground than I have personally. Like I am one of these keyboard armchair researchers most of the time. But I'd like to get your guys. I'd like to get your guys' thoughts on this case that not a lot of people know about, and I hope you can share some of it with us. I know you're under NDAs for certain things and this and that, but Needles, California. This is a case that caught my attention and I've been looking into a lot, but I want to get it from you guys. This is probably one of the most recent quote unquote UFO crashes in history right now. So tell us a little about Needles, what you've heard about the case, and about going there. You guys actually went out to
We
look for
did.
stuff. So is there anything you could share with my audience about that?
You know, to be honest with you, nobody has investigated Needles, California in a long time. And so Joe and I, just to give you some background, it was May 14th, 2008. So not that long ago, 12 years.
Yeah.
About 2 a.m., the residents of Needles, California, which by the way is like in the taint of California. It's like where California and Nevada and like there's like a little, the residents saw this turquoise light screech across the sky, right? And then it came down, crashed into the banks of the Colorado River. This was so bright, it lit up the entire town of Needles. And they were calling the local radio station that night to report it and talk about it, tell people about it. A man named Frank Costigan, who has since passed, was one of the people that took those calls. So what we did is we started there. We started with Frank Costigan, who gave us so much information about what happened in 2008. So that night, after it crashed into the banks of the Colorado River, this UFO, this, who knows, it wasn't a meteor. It was definitely a vehicle of some sort, primarily because a squadron of helicopters were following it as it crashed. Then a sky crane came in, which is like a big helicopter that can lift really heavy stuff, comes in, picks up the object right into the sky, and they fly off. That morning, the town is overrun with seemingly scientists, possible people affiliated with the Army or the Navy. They
Men in
infiltrated
Black.
the town, Men in Black.
Oh, wow.
They asked lots of questions. There was literally lines of cars coming into Needles, California. It was unlike anything they had ever seen because it's really a quiet place. They just love their trailers and their
Chinese
bonfires and whatever they do there. By Chinese food, we mean it's really bad, not that there's Chinese people there. I just wanted to point that out. They have bad Chinese food. Okay.
Is there bad Chinese food? Let's be honest.
Yes, because when it's 115 degrees and you're eating some very hot,
sweet and sour pork.
I didn't think about that. That just made my stomach turn. Yeah.
You're
It's
all full of MSG, and then you're like, the water's not working. You guys don't carry Gatorade. Help!
Oh my god. I'm thinking of Anchorman. Milk was a bad choice.
Yes, exactly.
Oh man.
So anyway, just fun memories. Joe and I, we pop in here and there.
Yeah.
So how mysterious. There was a man named Bob on the river, okay, who was a man that was boating that night.
Wait, you said his name is Bob?
Bob.
Yeah, what's his what do you know his last name was? Was it up and down the water?
Oh no. I have a feeling this is an inside joke.
No, it was just
you know Bob up and down in the water?
Bob's up and down.
Oh my god, that went right over my head.
Like in the water, not in a lap.
Oh my gosh.
But he was fishing on the banks of Colorado River.
Okay.
Go ahead, Joe.
And
he
saw it fly in. He saw it fly in.
Okay.
So we interviewed Frank Costigan. He gave us contact information with the local geologist and land surveyor so we could get an idea of approximately where this thing crashed in the banks of Colorado River. And we went out there with our metal detectors and our EM detectors, and we found something, man. And we had not ever really shown this, especially to somebody where you're at on TV. So many followers. We've shown people here and there. But we actually dug down a couple feet and pulled this incredible piece of metal out of the ground. And it's a really pretty big piece of metal. You want to see it?
Yeah, if you guys are willing to share that. Are you allowed to?
I don't care what they're going to do. Sue me for my piece of metal.
Okay. Yeah, let's, if you guys are willing, this is a Somewhere in the Skies UFO Bros exclusive. I would love to see.
Astronaut John Kelly saw this piece of metal.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And he says because of the tinting on it, he thinks this is very much something that has been to space. So I'm going to show you the whole piece in its entirety.
Oh wow, that's huge.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's huge. But when you look at it, it's just like, oh, okay, it's a piece of metal. But upon further inspection, you'll start to notice, look, there's this weird bubbling that has occurred in the metal, which suggests that something was heated extremely quickly, faster than able to char. The other thing too is you can see the way that this has come off. It looks as though it has literally exploded off something. What's so funny?
Yeah.
What's so
It's
funny?
magic.
You know.
Now I got glitter everywhere.
Oh no.
So this is important. We're showing a piece of a UFO, and you're playing with glitter.
Well, I have kids. Okay.
Yeah, I'm sorry to hear that. But this is, if you look at this side here, there is a strange like yellow tinting to it.
Yeah.
Backside, there's some discoloration and it looks like oxidation. We have this.
But it hasn't rusted.
What? It has not rusted. Came right out of the ground.
Oh wow.
We had it analyzed.
Yeah.
We had it analyzed, and same thing you said, man. This is aerospace ready material, and that it was designed to withstand a tremendous amount of pressure, the type of metal it is. And so it is not a piece of like, a license plate or a piece of aluminum off a roof or something like that. This is something that has been through a traumatic event. Okay.
Yeah.
And this was right in the coordinates of the needles crashing on the banks of the Colorado River.
Wow.
So it's super thin, very strong.
Dude, it looks identical to our metals. I'm not kidding you. Even the like you said, the bubbling that we're seeing there, where it looks like it was like burned or impacted, ours had the same thing. And this was like a solid steel piece that you could not bend, you could not break, nothing. Yet it had those really interesting rivets in it and bubbling, like you said, like something very traumatic had happened. Wow. It is strikingly similar to our metals. There's something to be said about that. What do you guys think? What do you think it is?
That was buried like 4 to 5 feet down.
That was okay.
Joe,
so we're
every
not
time you
talking
say that story, it gets a foot deeper. It was like 2 feet down.
It was like 2 to 4 feet deep. It was
in the core of the earth.
We dug to China.
Yeah.
China. But Joe, what do you think? Because I think that I don't necessarily know that it's extraterrestrial, but I really do think that whatever crashed in Needles, this could really truly be a piece of it. That's what I truly believe.
We had it analyzed. We analyzed its properties. We, had to take it around it, and from the results, it's something that's been into space. The yellowing on it is from radiation, that they say.
Oh wow!
And
that's saying something. Yeah,
that's the radiation.
This being in space, this creates this sort of yellow tint.
Yellow coating tint. Yeah.
We've actually even had skeptics look at it, and they still say this is weird. And so we can truly say that this is a strange object off of something that suffered a traumatic event.
And quite possibly was in space.
I really do think that this is possibly a piece of what crashed, because it sounds to me like potentially if Needles wasn't extraterrestrial, that it definitely was an advanced, potentially government experimental craft of some sort, which could explain this sort of launch grade alloy. And
so how you like them apples there, Ryan? Do you like our piece?
Yeah, Ryan, gooey.
All I'm gonna say is, guys, your piece is way bigger than mine.
Yeah. We had a black piece in here actually, but it was a really big black piece.
Oh,
will you knock it off, bro?
What?
I love it. You guys, you catch me off my feet and leave me silent. So that's saying something, because I've heard everything.
We try.
You try.
You should go on a trip with us sometime. You actually probably might kill us.
That'd be the funniest shit in the world.
Oh
The
my
poor
god.
sound guy in the back of the RV and
Yeah.
our executive guy, they were just like, how are you still talking? It's been 12
Yeah.
hours.
Yeah.
And they're-
Oh man.
I don't know. So
It's the
you know,
passion that keeps you going.
I was all, yeah, it was the passion. I was all, so how long did you guys record? He's like, well, like about 40 minutes after we left, we just stopped because he just kept talking and talking.
You just kept going. Oh
Yes,
man,
yes.
that is
Well, I think
that is
that's
so
what this is
cool.
about too, right, Ryan? Like, it's supposed to be fun.
Absolutely. I try to remind people, like, yeah, this is a serious topic. Like, we're talking about possible kidnapping of kids by the U.S. government and killing them at a UFO crash, and also like the potential of
Imagine.
alien life visiting our planet. It is a big thing, but come on, like we talk about the weirdest shit out there, and if we can't laugh about it every now and
Yeah.
again, you're gonna be miserable, miserable. So
I
that's really
Just to
good.
let you know that Nick Pope, that was him letting go.
Let's
That
talk
was
about
his
that.
having a good time.
Let's talk about that. You
He
guys
didn't
recently
get
had
he didn't get anything that I was doing. I was doing the Donald Trump water bottle drink. He's like, what?
what? Huh?
What happened?
Look,
What was it like?
he
What
is
was
a
it like
very
interviewing?
thoughtful man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, he actually,
I
he
love
was a
him.
blast, and he went along with it perfectly.
Yeah,
and
he
he's like,
did.
I was able to really let go. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah, and by that he means like unbutton the top button of his
Yeah.
shirt. Right?
yeah.
But no, he
No,
was
he did it.
great.
He's awesome.
He was definitely a great, and I would like to have him on again.
awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. And for
We
those who
ran
don't
into
know, Nick Pope was the former UFO desk worker for the MOD in England and their UFO project, and you should know that by now to my audience. But yeah, that was yeah. So what did he have to
But-
say? Anything really compelling that he brought forward with you guys?
My favorite part of the whole show is we ask him, we say, if there is a revelation about UFOs and extraterrestrials this month, potentially, what would the president say to the people? Walk us through that moment. And he does.
He
and
does.
For a minute, well, he actually got us silent. We were like,
Yeah.
it just
Did it
felt
happen,
like,
bro? Did it happen?
yeah.
That's what it
We're
felt like.
Wait, is this happening? Are you doing disclosure now? Like, that's what it
Oh,
felt
Is this it?
Just
wow.
Yeah. He did really
He's
good.
like, the president will walk out, and I can't really do anything. But that was my favorite part. You know, the
Mhm.
guy is deep into what's going on over.
Yeah.
He's on Tucker Carlson. I know how much you watch Tucker Carlson all the time, doing. I know you love Tucker Carlson, don't you, Ryan?
Oh, huge fan of Mr. Carlson. Hey, look,
Oh.
I'm pretty vocal about my political leanings and everything, but you know, I try to keep it out as much as I can.
Always.
Because of all this, but you know, it's hard because this is a political issue. UFOs.
Mhm.
You know, we can all say
I didn't
it's
mean to bring up
bipartisan.
politics. Well, I did, but I didn't like to bring
No,
it
you
up
didn't.
like in a big way.
But hey, look, if there's anything I could say about Tucker Carlson, you know, besides him as a person with his principles and values and ethics, he is taking this thing more serious than any news network, any news anchor, and he's doing a really good job at it. He's a smart
is.
guy. There's no getting around that. Tucker Carlson is a very smart guy. There's so much I don't agree with him on in the
course.
world, but hey, if he's going to be the one to get this thing out to the forefront, I am appreciative of that. And
I just want it out.
yeah.
You know
I
what
just
I mean?
want it out. We want the
I
truth.
don't care who does it. Just put
Totally.
it out. Just get it out. And that's how I feel, being
Mhm.
just apolitical. And I was teasing you a little bit, but just being apolitical about it.
Yeah.
I don't care if the Pope, I don't care. I want to know so that we can, what are we going to do after all this is over? What do we have to complain about?
What are the
anymore?
three of us going to do? We're going to have to like take up like basket weaving or something. I don't know.
Underwater basket weaving. That's
Underwater. Yes. Got to put that caveat on. Well, hey, I want to know what you guys think. And while we're on the topic of like disclosure and, you know, I guess U.S. politics, we have a major election coming up in a couple weeks.
Yeah.
And, you know, no matter which way it goes, you know, Trump has kind of given us his thoughts and whatnot on the UFO topic. But Biden has said nothing. He's never really talked about it. But do you think with a new administration, uh, things could change in terms of the UFO disclosure? I mean, if we have a different administration full of different people who may have some interest in this topic, does it matter? Does it even matter if Trump is there or Biden is there? Will anything change with the overall disclosure of UFOs, in your guys' opinions?
Well, I'll start, Joe. I know that you usually start. I think that that things are so chaotic right now.
Mhm.
Now would be probably the most likely time that something could get out. I don't know what would happen if Biden got in. Like you said, he hasn't said anything. But what if he gets in, but then he does what was the former, which was just kind of keep
he will
pushing it along, kind of thing. I'm actually surprised Trump hasn't said anything yet, to be very honest. I mean, the guy's like,
I mean, why wouldn't Biden? I mean,
says, but
to tell you the truth, why wouldn't Biden? They're little tiny little beings, and he can smell their head, and as he sits there with them, I mean.
Those are some creepy videos, man.
Why wouldn't he?
I don't care who you vote for. Like, them some creepy videos for sure.
He's just sitting there.
Oh my god. Oh man. We've literally alienated 100% of our audience already, and I think that's amazing.
They need a shot. Look, it's all about
That's
fun,
true.
and especially right now, man. Like, I think they're all crazy. Okay, all of them, every single politician line, they're all is equally not truthful. So let's just get that out, so you can do whatever you want to do with whoever you want. But like you said, let's get the info out. Hopefully, we can get it.
Let's get it. Like I say,
that's called pop Tourette's. That's
yes.
what I call it.
See,
Is that a clinical term? Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
no, actually, this could be. You can edit this out right here if you want to. I have a movement disorder that they finally diagnosed me with.
Mm-hmm.
So I constantly move, and they can't figure it out. It's called chorea. It's like part of like a Huntington's, Parkinson's. Leave me alone. I'm trying to talk. You always ruin every time I try to fucking talk because I'm ending up like him.
Oh.
That's what's happening. Okay.
No.
Yeah, that's what it is.
Oh man, I think Ryan just got canceled.
I have no idea
Sorry,
how to
Ryan.
respond to that other than, dude, I'm sorry. And
Oh no, it's okay. This is something that I've had forever. So if I'm like moving weird and shit, it's my thing. It's gonna be great for on camera. So I can smack the shit out of Emmet.
Exactly.
Nobody cares.
Well, okay. So I want to move on to in asking you guys, and again, if you want to throw it back to me whenever. I don't want to steer this ship because this is your show too.
No, I love it. It's great.
No, it's great. It's just good flow.
No matter who asks the questions, we all have something to say, so it's great.
Exactly. That's why I knew this was going to work. One of your guests is probably the most controversial person in ufology from years past and even up until today. And I was really surprised to see you guys get him on and chat with this guy. And that is Rick Doty, the professional disinformation agent within ufology, working for the U.S. Air Force and OSI and all these other things. I don't even want to list all his credentials because they scare me. But what was it like?
Right?
Doty? What was that like, guys?
Honestly, he's a really great guy.
Yeah, he seems nice. That's the problem.
He's fun. Well, yeah, that's actually very true. I think the point is, in terms of interviewing Rick Doty, is whether you like it or not, he has a story. Mm-hmm. And sometimes it's off-putting because, of his past and what he did, like you were saying, being a disinformation agent. But you got to just talk to him yourself. You have to, you can't really just hear what other people are saying. You got to really kind of ask them, why did you have to do that? What did that entail?
Mhm.
What are you doing now? What about this, this, and this? We just ask. We don't beat around the
Yeah.
bush. And so that was really why we continued to interview Rick Doty. We only really got a chance to talk to him a little bit about Area 51. And so we wanted to further our conversation, our curiosity. I understand what you're saying, potentially giving a platform to maybe the disinformation person. But I think the larger picture of what we do here is people have to pick and choose what they think is the most accurate. Rick
Yeah.
Doty, people could listen to him and go, that guy's totally full of shit. And that's
Yeah.
fine with me. That's fine with, because, ultimately, there's a story and he shares one with us, and people, I don't know, it's an interesting story.
Oh,
He tells
it's
us
a
something
very
he's
interesting story, and
never
it's
told anybody before. And
it's
it's an interesting
and
story.
I
that I've
believe
got.
him. You know what? I believe him, bro, and I believe him.
Okay. You guys will have to, in my audience, go watch or listen to that interview to hear that story. I obviously don't want to give it away here, but you're right. He is a storyteller, and
He is.
that's what worries a lot of people, and also captures a lot of people's attention who might not know about what he's done in the past. And again, for anyone who doesn't know, this gentleman, he's probably best known for a disinformation campaign he did back in the 80s with a gentleman named Paul Benowitz, who was reporting UFOs over Kirtland Air Force Base, and went straight up to the base, kind of like knocked on the proverbial front door and said, yo, there's UFOs over your base. And also,
Right.
like, I'm getting these weird transmissions on my radios back home, and I think it's an alien invasion. And meanwhile, the Air Force Base is like, holy shit, he like cracked our secret spy codes and whatnot and like frequencies.
Right.
This is a huge national security breach. And this dude is able to like hear this and experiencing this. Like, that's fucked up. We gotta like do something. And when he came to them and said it's aliens, they ran with it. They're like, okay, sure.
Totally. Right.
It's aliens.
Yeah.
They like
And
fed into it.
They fed him, and Rick Doty was the gentleman who they hired to go to this guy and keep it going, keep telling him there's an alien invasion coming. They would break into his home, him and these other spooks, and when he wasn't home, and like move shit in his apartment or his house, and just so he would become paranoid or think he was crazy. And they just kept doing this and driving it into this dude's brain that there was a pending alien invasion and the government knew about it. And until he went mad and his family had to put him in a mental institution. And this is all proven and documented. And
Right.
Rick Doty, the gentleman you interviewed, was the one who drove this guy crazy for the U.S.
You have to talk to him about it, though.
Crazy.
Very interesting.
He has his side of the story, right?
Well, it's interesting when you talk about orders from the Army.
Yeah.
Or what, I don't actually remember exactly what branch he was in. I think it was Army, right, Joe? Remember off the top of my head.
I'm not sure.
I don't know everything about Rick Doty, but he explains that when you're under orders, there's certain things you have to do. And I found that to be interesting, because if you are, how does that work, Ryan? If you're like a soldier and you're told to do something, what do? You do it.
And I get that. Like, and Doty has said that in the past. He said, I was doing my job and this is for national security. And I was, paid to do this. And like, of course, I'm going to do what I'm told to do.
But frankly, who's to say he's not still doing that job either?
Exactly.
Which is true.
Yeah.
But he's just got some interesting stories and things to say. So that would be why we brought him on.
Awesome. I totally get it. I think there's such a weird thing nowadays, I think, in the media, and whether it's like YouTube or mainstream media or anything in between, of giving certain people platforms. And this sort of cancel culture we live in is, no, if you're interviewing them or talking about them, you're automatically giving them more exposure. And to an extent, I understand that. But I also think it's important to understand why someone feels the way they feel or did the things they did, and let the listener or decide. So I understand why you guys did it. It was very interesting. And look, his story's still being written. He's still in there. I mean, he's on Facebook every 2 seconds, like liking my posts and other UFO researchers like yourself interacting with us. And it's weird. it's weird knowing that like the poster child of disinformation within ufology.
The guy from Mirage Men on the
Yeah.
cover of Mirage Men.
Yeah, he's clicking like on like my posts and
Yeah.
whatnot, and your guys' posts. It's weird. What a weird digital age we live in. But
Right?
okay.
I know.
I don't know.
Well,
Where
and-
should we? Yeah, where should we go from here, guys?
Well, I think, is there any questions, Joe, that you have for Ryan? Because, you know, we got our dual show here. You know, two worlds colliding. It's awesome.
Mhm.
I think
love
we drive well. This is fun. We definitely got to do this again for sure.
Oh my
Definitely.
god!
I just want to
This
know what's
is
for you.
one of many. Yeah.
Oh, and
Definitely.
real quick here, we got to let people know about Ryan's book, which is getting, I think, not just national but worldwide attention on major news outlets. And I think, were you in Australia or something?
I did an interview out of Australia about a month ago. Well, first of all, thank you for those very.
I know
kind
everything.
Words, but yeah, man, I came out with a second edition of my book, which you can see right there. That's shameless promotion if I've ever seen.
No, I would
Um,
read it, but I don't read books.
That's totally fair. Well, hey, I've got an exclusive
No.
for you. The audio
Actually, I'm
book is
kidding. I
coming
have
out
it
in a couple
downloaded
weeks.
on my phone.
Oh, you
that's
did?
even better.
Okay. Yeah.
I have. Joe, show him the book.
Oh, show them the book.
If we have this book, we have yours. If we have that book,
Ooh,
we have your book.
We got to talk about that one. We
And
definitely.
I
have to
waited
talk
in
about that
line for it too.
And it's signed
one. Ooh,
it's signed by the prick.
Oh, tell us how you really feel, Joe. We'll get into that guy. But no, thank you for mentioning the book. It's the second edition.
Yeah.
I always said, like, if I'm gonna buy a second edition of a book, there needs to be a reason, you know, unless it's college and you're buying like textbooks that you're forced to buy. Why would you want to read a second edition of a book? So I went in, dude, and I wrote 80,000 new words. It's a whole new book.
It's exhausting.
It really was, and
It's amazing.
it was really rewarding. Like the book is all about people who've seen UFOs, experienced abductions, their thoughts and theories on them, and it's more about the people having the experiences than like how big was the craft, when did it happen. I wanted to get to
Which
know
is
the
great.
Yeah,
We're missing that.
yeah, we
you
need
know?
both. We need both.
Because we're definitely all very focused on like what's going on and you know the evidence and you know we want us vindication and that's what, but there are people that are still dealing with this or have dealt with it and they haven't even said anything or they haven't had the chance to get it out, and now's a good time because now you know you don't have to necessarily be a crazy person, quote unquote, you know, to have a UFO experience. It's different time. That's what's great about the book.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate that. And I think you're right, man. Like, I think now is the time where the world is embracing UFOs unlike ever before. And that has a lot to do with these articles that came out in the New York Times and CNN, Fox, whatever, covering the topic in a serious manner when they didn't before. And it's empowered people. So I thought, what better time to come out with a new version of the book with new UFO cases, following up with everyone in the 2016 edition of the book to see if their events have continued. That's another thing. We hear about UFO sightings, whether on the news or in person, and then that's kind of it. We never hear about it again. But look, did it continue? Did these people see other things? Has the story changed at all? Like, I wanted to know. So I followed up with everyone and then brought new cases forward, and including one of the dudes who was part of the Navy Tic Tac UFO event. He was the first person to track the things on radar, send out the intercept to the pilots, and ushered in this whole new era of UFO disclosure when it comes to the military. So, and look, that affected his life in many ways. So I wrote a whole new chapter on that, and it's awesome. Like, I can't tell you guys how rewarding it is to, like,
Oh
you
man, I want to write a book
get out
someday,
there.
but I don't have the focus.
I get it. I totally get it, man.
I'm like,
I
I'm
get
gonna
it.
write a book.
I'll read it to
Oh
you.
wait, hold on.
We'll go
Let me check
chapter
my
by
Amazon
chapter.
order. When is it?
I'll read it to you at bedtime. How's that sound, man?
Remember popcorn? We'll be like, read a paragraph. Popcorn Joe. Do you remember popcorn?
No.
Remember that? That was when the class.
Oh
would
yeah, I
read-
remember. You had to go through the class and
And then you would say popcorn, and then you would call on your friend in the class, and then it was their turn to read. That's what I'm thinking.
Oh, that sounds cool. Nice.
So I'll be
No.
like, and Ryan went down the slide head first. Popcorn Joe. And then he can, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Emmett's
So-
a fuck face and a fuck face of the fuck face Emmett.
I
Popcorn.
hope you don't mind
Ryan.
explicit words.
No, we are no stranger to that on Summer.
I hope you don't mind
Not
marking
at
your
all.
podcast. We say the F word.
I know. I just got one of my videos on YouTube restricted, age restricted, and I'm still trying to figure out why. I don't know if it was like a fluke or what, but I'm like going through. I'm like, what the hell is so profane or needed to be censored in this? But we're
Well,
seeing
they're
that a
like
lot in
cracking
social media.
down.
I know,
Yeah.
they really are.
I'm afraid
Um,
that the UFO the conspiracy crackdown, I don't want that to reach into our community where we're really trying to get real information out.
Yeah.
You know, all of a
That's a
sudden
good
they're
point,
like,
though, man.
you never
Yeah.
know. They could be like any conspiracy at all. Who knows? I mean, where is this going to lead to? You know?
Yeah,
But-
it's hard. It's hard. I know, like the whole QAnon thing is being censored on all social media platforms right now, which,
Yep.
you know, I struggle with censorship for sure. But if it's dangerous and it's affecting the real world in bad ways, like something like shooting up a pizza shop during Pizzagate or like drinking bleach to cure the coronavirus, those are real
That's
world
a great one. It's a tremendous one. I just want to let you know that I was a part of that. Drink the bleach. You'll be wonderful.
Holy shit, that is spot on. I can't believe that. But you're right.
Tell me about it.
You're right. Like, when is it going to bleed over into ufology and the conspiracies that we cover? I fear that maybe we won't see as much UFO content on these platforms any longer.
Just have to be
and-
cautious, I guess, of keywords and descriptions.
Gotta be careful.
And, you know,
Yeah,
like
it's
I
a
don't
slippery
put
slope.
anything about it is.
Mm.
I do know though, like we've had a blast with you in this interview. It's not even an interview; it's like a chat.
It's a
Yeah, I
chat.
was just chatting.
Yeah.
This is so great. I think this is how most people should talk about UFOs.
Yeah.
So tell me about your PhD, and you know, we don't have any PhDs, unfortunately.
Fuck that shit.
But I do. We are gonna have to wrap up for Ari because my AirPods are dying.
Oh my god, dude, that's totally fine. We are going to have
Yeah.
plenty of more opportunities to do this.
Oh,
But
yeah,
we
dude.
We only scratched the surface today, at least
Oh,
on my
man.
end. And I know we could do this for hours, but no, this has been awesome. So I guess for my audience,
has been.
before you guys go, where
Yeah.
can we find you and everything you're up to and what comes next for the UFO Bros?
Well, our website, realufobros.com. We're on all things social media at Real UFO Bros. So it's just the same handle. And on our podcast is called Probecast. So you just got to search in UFO Bros Probecast. And, you know, it's slightly, you know, a different approach, as Ryan said earlier. But most people enjoy, I think, our show. We get downloads. So check it out. And for people that are listening, because we got this awesome dual thing going on, Ryan, tell our listeners where they can find out about you.
Absolutely. Everything I do is at somewhereintheskies.com. The book's on Amazon, paperback ebook, soon to be an audiobook as well. And like I said, yeah, look for me on Mysteries Decoded. Look for these guys on the Travel Channel. And guys, this has been so much fun on my end. Thank you. I'm so happy we finally made it happen. And it's only just begun, right?
Sausage.
Yes, it has, buddy.
Awesome. Take care, guys. Keep looking up.
See ya.
Bye.
Rope.